Hello, everyone. It is Suzi Lula. So today we are on chapter 4, day 4 of Living the Motherhood Evolution. And today is a big topic in my world. The name of this chapter is The Martyred Mother. So we're talking about martyrdom, guilt and martyrdom. This is what I hear all day, every day from moms, parents, caregivers. This is a big topic today. So I'm so grateful to have you all with me. Again, my name is Suzi Lula. Welcome, welcome. I am a spiritual counselor. I am mom to a 14-year-old son, and I am an author with an upcoming book called The Motherhood Evolution: How Thriving Mothers Raise Thriving Children. So I am literally on a mission to change the face of motherhood. What I find in my practice dealing with moms all day, caregivers all day, parents all day, is that what can happen for us, even the most well-intentioned of us, and I do believe that all parents are seeking to bring out the best in ourselves and give the most to our children. But what can happen to us unintentionally, unconsciously, is that we end up martyring ourselves. So this is a big topic I want to speak about today. I'm so happy to have you all with me. And again, my name is Suzi Lula. I've just written this book called The Motherhood Evolution, and I'm really seeking to see caregivers everywhere thriving. So welcome, Alyssa. Welcome, Alyssa. Good morning. Hi, Angie. Welcome, welcome. So happy to have you all and join together here, because I don't know about you all, but for me, raising children in a busy culture as we have, like I said, with us parents, seeking to do the best for our children, we can end up really feeling behind the 8 ball. And this is what I encounter with parents all day in my private practice, is that we are exhausted and can feel overwhelmed and can feel like an island, really, that we are isolated and seeking to do the best that we can for our children and not knowing which way to go, because culture really tells us we should stay busy. The parents who are doing the most are, quote, the best parents. So many mothers I speak to, they want to be a good mother. So this is an important topic, this idea of martyring ourselves. So I wanted to start by reading a little bit from the book, chapter 4, The Martyred Mother. So it begins, women, particularly mothers, have been inducted into a long lineage of martyrdom, both within our individual families and culturally as a whole. So what is this thing called martyrdom? What is a martyr? A martyr is an individual who endures great suffering on behalf of a belief or cause. So I'm going to say that again. A martyr is an individual who endures great suffering on behalf of a belief or cause. We parents and caregivers endure great suffering when we care for our children to the exclusion of ourselves, thinking we're doing something for them, thinking we're giving something to them. But is this working? And to what cost? And to what end? So, good morning again. My name is Suzi Lula. I'm so happy to be here with you all. I'm asking us to contemplate, to really give thought to this idea of martyrdom. So, an individual who endures great suffering on behalf of a belief or cause, Joe is saying, an individual who endures great suffering on behalf of a belief or cause. So this is what we do. We caregivers end up enduring great suffering, thinking that we are doing something for our children by putting ourselves last on our list. And then what happens is we are the ones that end up exhausted, overwhelmed, carrying resentment. Arthi is saying Indian women are martyrs, way up there. This is really so fascinating. I mean, I've been working with individuals for 18 years now, myself a mom for 14 years, and I'm telling you, mother after mother, caregiver after caregiver, and men included, because men have been indoctrinated, to go out and be the breadwinner and protect the family. And so we are all indoctrinated into a culture that says the more we do, the more worthy we are. The more we do, the more worthy we are. We have been indoctrinated into this way of thinking. And so then when we end up raising our children, we end up doing more, putting ourselves last on the list, because culture tells us, as we've been speaking about in the previous days, and please feel free to go listen to any of the recordings from the previous days. Day 1, we spoke about this, so you can go find it on my Facebook page. Day 1, from self-sacrifice to self-care, because we are taught that caring for ourselves is what? Selfish. Whenever I speak to a group of individuals, whenever I work with an individual, and I ask them, self-care is considered what? Everyone answers, selfish. We are indoctrinating into this culture that taking care of ourselves is selfish. So you can go back, you can watch the first day, day 1, and you can go to my website, SuziLula.com, and download chapter 1 for free. It's completely free. You have nothing to lose. Go to my website right now, download chapter 1, from self-sacrifice to self-care. So this is the context, this is the basis, this is the foundation of what we're speaking about. We need to basically say to culture that it is an insult to my intelligence to tell me that taking care of myself is selfish. Taking care of myself is the most selfless thing I can do to those around me, for those around me. So what happens is we unconsciously do not take care of ourselves. We unconsciously put our children first, thinking that we are doing something for them. And then we end up exhausted, overwhelmed, feeling isolated, feeling resentful, feeling resentment. And then we feel disconnected. We are disconnected from our own spirit and that source of a greater presence that feeds us vitality and a sense of well-being. And this is why I say that for me, in working with parents, and this is why I'm so passionate about this, we are a group of individuals that I call, anyway, we're sort of spiritually bankrupt, because we are taught not to take care of ourselves. And nourishing our spirit keeps us connected to the spirit of life itself. It keeps us inspired. It keeps us feeling like we're flourishing and we're blossoming. And this is what life is meant to be. Life with our children is not meant to be exhaustion and overwhelm and disconnection and severing from our own spirit, So I tell you that when we meet our child for the first time, and for those of you who are fathers and those of you who are caregivers, when you meet your child early on, or when any one of us thinks of an innocent child, an infant, we recognize that they are connected to a presence that is greater than themselves. They are connected. It's almost otherworldly. It's a world that transcends this world. When you think about looking into the eyes of an infant, you feel this sort of otherworldliness. Everyone feels this. Why is this? It connects us and reconnects us with our own spirit, and the remembering, the knowing that we come from something greater, a presence. There is a presence that is greater. And I find that mothers, parents, caregivers in particular are yearning to reconnect. And then we end up, severing that connection because we buy into a culture that tells us we must martyr ourselves in order to be good. So we are martyring ourselves. We are not taking care of ourselves. We are putting ourselves last on the list. We are exhausted. We are overwhelmed. And then we are severed. We are disconnected from our own spirit. And then we expect to provide for our children in a way that brings them contentment and joy and harmony and peace and inspiration and creativity and compassion and empathy. These qualities are qualities of the heart. They are not qualities of doing. You're not going to get these qualities from your doing. We are here to bring these qualities to our doing. So Angie is saying, in my multitasking, while listening and watching from my iPhone, had to be here for me. I love this, Angie. Had to be here for me. So even this 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day that we are connecting here, and if you all will, share this, because what I find in my practice is hour after hour after hour of speaking to parents and caregivers, mothers, we feel disconnected. We feel isolated. And this is because we are martyring ourselves. So I'm going to read you the definition of a martyr again. For those of you who are just joining me, my name is Suzi Lula. I just wrote a book called The Motherhood Evolution, How Thriving Mothers Raise Thriving Children. And what the feedback that I'm getting from so many of you is that this is relevant not only for mothers, but basically anyone that's alive on the planet today, because we've all been taught not to take care of ourselves, and to put ourselves last. So I wanted to read, and you can download chapter 1, From Self-Sacrifice to Self-Care, from my website, SuziLula.com. So please go to my website, download chapter 1. It's free. You have nothing to lose. Share it with your friends. Have them go to my website, because I really want to gather a tribe together that really speaks back to culture and proves out to culture that we as women, as caregivers, as parents, we don't need to walk around run ragged on an empty tank. So this is my offering to you all today, is to help fill our tanks each day, to provide ourselves a big bank account each day, a big savings account of vitality, well-being, connection to inspiration and creativity and community. So again, from chapter 4, The Martyred Mother, women, particularly mothers, but even parents and all caregivers, and especially women, but even men, have been inducted into a long lineage of martyrdom, both within our individual families and culturally as a whole. So what is this word martyr? What is this word? A martyr is an individual who endures great suffering on behalf of a belief or cause. We caregivers, we parents, we fathers, we men, we mothers endure great suffering when we care for our children to the exclusion of ourselves, thinking we're doing something for them, thinking we're giving something to them. But is this working for us, and at what cost? We're giving nothing to our children when our tank is empty. We have nothing to give them. And so what we end up giving them is an environment, is an energy that is filled with power struggles, lack, really, not enough time, too busy, not enough spirit, too busy, not enough presence, too busy, not enough connection. So Angie's saying no more empty tank. Jess is saying new culture. Self-care is the new culture, I always say, self-sacrifice is so old school. Self-care is in. Self-care is in. I want to make it hip and cool to take care of ourselves and to say this is the farthest thing from selfish I could be, because when my son walks in and I'm connected to my own spirit, and I'm connected to my own inspiration and creativity, he loves this. He thrives in this. He, eats this up. The environment that I'm providing for him is rich and flourishing and blossoming because I am rich and flourishing and blossoming. When I'm in my creative element, it just allows him to flourish and be himself. So Arthy's saying, yes, self-sacrifice is now old school, baby. Self-sacrifice, old school, right? Our children are not asking us to sacrifice ourselves. Our children are not asking for this. In fact, they provide us exactly the opposite. When we meet them, they're flourishing, they're thriving, they're connected to a presence that is greater than this world can ever provide. Nothing of this world can provide to us anything. The 2.5 kids and the white picket fence, it can't provide anything for us. We, though, can bring our spirit to it. And this is why I'm so passionate. This is what we can do. We can bring something to our children. And we cannot do this when we are martyring ourselves. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about guilt. I call guilt martyr's cousin. So there's martyrdom, and then there's martyr's cousin, guilt, right? Not a day goes by that a mom doesn't tell me, I feel guilty when I take care of myself, and I feel guilty when I don't take care of myself. So this energy is so important for us to take dominion. It is for me to take dominion over my own life. I always say, when you really think about it, it just really makes me emotional every time I say this. When you really think about it, we are here on planet Earth for a nanosecond. And we are here with our loved ones, our children, for a nanosecond when you think about it. Our partners for a nanosecond when you really think about it. You don't want to spend your nanosecond martyred. You don't want to create your nanosecond suffering, right? So when I say in the book that martyrdom is creating great suffering, all the great mystics will tell you, life will bring us what it brings us. Life will bring us loss. Life will bring us, in just the past month, I've had 3 individuals very, very, very close to me pass on. Life brings us what it brings us. Pain is part of life. I believe that when every one of us comes onto this planet, we understand that pain is part of life. But let me tell you, suffering is optional. Loss is part of life, Learning is part of life. Mistakes, mishaps, learnings, curriculum, courses, opportunities, lessons, gifts, whatever you want to call them. Yes, that is part of life. But I am here to tell you, suffering is optional. We are not here to suffer. And when we learn to nourish our own spirit, we will be able to be more present with what comes to us. So with our children, they will stumble. They will fall. We will stumble. We will fall. This is part of life. I always say, and I always refer back to Dr. Shefali, who, for those of you who don't know, the one of you that doesn't know, Dr. Shefali Sabari, who wrote this book, The Awakened Family, but the first book I read of hers was actually The Conscious Parent. We're not here to be the perfect parent. We're not even here to be a good parent. We're here to be a conscious, awakened, nourished, spiritually connected parent. And the only way to do that is to feed ourselves, nourish ourselves. And we cannot feed ourselves and martyr ourselves at the same time. We cannot nourish ourselves and deprive ourselves at the same time. So the reason we suffer is because we deprive ourselves. So think about it. When we deprive ourselves, we are in a place of lack. Now, this is the other huge part of my teaching, of my work, and this program that I've developed, is we can unconsciously and unintentionally end up living in a place of lack. This is unnecessary. This is unnecessary. We are born into an abundant universe. And a child, when they're born, they expect their needs to be taken care of. They are trusting and know that they are part of something greater and larger. And when we deprive ourselves, we cut ourselves off from our own connection to a presence that is greater and larger than ourselves. So I want to just take a moment, read some of the comments. Back to you all. Again, my name is Suzi Lula. So happy to be with you all today. Please go to my website, SuziLula.com. Download From Self-Sacrifice to Self-Care. So as Arthi says, self-sacrifice is so old school. But read so that you can dive deeper into my teachings. These 22 days are to give us a little taste of my book, and what I'm really intending is that we take a deep dive into these principles, into these practices, and really transform ourselves from the inside out. And the way to start that is by nourishing our spirit every day. This is a daily practice. Sometimes it's an hourly practice. So again, my name is Suzi Lula. So grateful to be with all of you today, nourishing our spirits together, that we may end this time together feeling more connected to a life that is greater and larger than our life, that feeds us, that we may then be this presence for our children that they're longing for, that they're craving, that they're yearning for. But what I find is that it's not only our children who are yearning for this, we ourselves as individuals on this planet right now, we are yearning and longing to be connected to something greater than ourselves. Excuse me. That is why I say that I believe that we parents and caregivers really, I call us, we have a little bit of spiritual bankruptcy going on. So I hope that's not offensive to anyone, but what I find in my practice is that we are yearning to be spiritually connected. And what happens is we feel so spiritually connected when we meet our child for the first time, or we think of an infant, or, you know, we are face to face, eye to eye. You cannot look into an infant's eyes, whether it's your own child or not. You cannot look into an infant's eyes and not feel this spiritual connection. Hi, my husband just walked in. I'm on my Facebook Live. Oh. So my husband is saying hi to everybody. Hi, everybody. So you cannot look into a child's eyes and not feel their connection to a world that's greater than our own. Wherever they've come from, it's a world that's greater than our own. It's undeniable. And this is our opportunity then to stay connected, to allow them to help us reconnect to our own spirit, because what happens is we end up martyring ourselves. We think that we've got to put them ahead of ourselves, and so we experience this deep spiritual connection, and then we end up severing our own spiritual connection. We end up severing our own connection because of the do, and the doing of life, and we value that doing over our own being. And so I'm intending first and foremost to feed my being, to nourish my being. And then I intend to bring my nourished being to my doing life. So it is true, especially for you all that have young children. It is true. Young children demand so much from us. They do. They're up at night. They have no concept of night and day. And you all that have many children, you know, or a few children, you know, young children, this is a task, right? They're up. They need to be fed. They need to be changed. They're toddlers. They're getting into everything. They're exploring their worlds. They are demanding a lot from us. They should, right? This is what we have signed up for. And then teenagers, whole different set of, just when I got one stage, like I was good with one stage, the next stage came along, So I learned early on, if I want to bring a nourished state of being into my doing, the doing is not going to change. The doing a little bit can change when we become still. And we really take note of what is important and what is not important. This is for a different day, different chapter. But even if your doing doesn't change, even if you have laundry and dishes and, 3 children under the age of 6 and whatever you have in your world, what I unequivocally guarantee you is that when you take the time each day to nourish your spirit, you will bring a different being into your doing world. This is our intention. This is our goal. This is what we're seeking. So again, today we're talking about martyrdom, martyrhood. What is a martyr? A martyr is someone who endures great suffering on behalf of a belief or cause. The belief being that I need to put someone else's needs before myself, that there's not enough for all of us to get our needs met, which there is, and we endure great suffering when we care for our children to the exclusion of ourselves. There's no need for this, thinking that we're doing something for them, that we're giving something to them. But no one's asking us to do this. So the hallmark of a martyr, so that, okay, how do you know that you're martyring yourself? You're in the middle of the day today. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. It's 6:30. It's 8:30 in the evening. The hallmark of a martyr is resentment. So when you feel, 8:30 at night, that feeling of like, I can't believe my spouse isn't helping me put my child to bed. I can't believe my child isn't willingly going to bed. When you've cooked this beautiful dinner and your child isn't eating. When you say it's time to come in for dinner and your child isn't listening. When you have a great project going on and you feel like you have nothing to give it, you're procrastinating, you're resenting it. When you find yourself exhausted, when you find yourself overwhelmed, when you find yourself disconnected, these are the hallmarks. This is when you know you have martyred yourself, because a martyr is someone who endures great suffering on behalf of someone else. And the suffering is optional because there is more than enough. I'm telling you, there is more than enough abundance for everyone to have their needs met. And when you take the time to meet your own needs, now, yes, it is a risk. Yes, it takes courage because we're taught not to do it. And so we feel selfish. When I say to my girlfriends or my other mom friends that I'm taking care of myself first, inevitably people tell me I don't have time to do that. That is a paradigm of lack, So if I take 10 minutes to nourish my spirit, then the next hour of my day is different. If I take 20 minutes to nourish my own spirit, the next 2 hours with my child is different. I am different. I come to my child differently. So Jess is saying we choose to martyr ourselves. So we want to hear this, you guys. We have to take ownership of this. We have to take ownership of this. This is why I want to join together in community, because we choose to martyr ourselves when we buy into the belief that there isn't enough time. There isn't enough time. The universe would not set us up to fail like this. The universe is abundant. The universe would not set us up to say, oh, okay, you have children, you're well-intentioned, but oh, too bad, there's not enough time to take care of yourselves. This is crazy making. This is an insult to our intelligence. Yes? So can we all agree that the universe is abundant and the universe is not asking us to martyr ourselves? We choose to martyr ourselves out of a cultural and generational, as Arthi says, Indian women, but Western women for sure, uh, these are all generalizations, but Jewish, just in the culture that I come from, in my family, my mom, God love her, she was amazing, but she deprived herself at every corner, thinking that she was doing something for me. I wasn't asking her to do this. I didn't even want her to do this. I didn't want her to be unhappy and disconnected and angry and yelling and slamming cabinets in the kitchen. I didn't want that from her. I wanted her to feel good and connected and, open-hearted. I wanted her to feel peaceful and thriving in her own life. She deprived herself thinking she was doing something for me. She deprived herself thinking she was being a good mom. I'm telling you, we don't think so, but self-care is really, really, it's age old. It's ancient wisdom. Any mystic that you read about, go pick up Rumi. You have only to read Rumi. Out beyond right doing and wrong doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. Our children are not come to us, but they are not of us. Khalil Gibran. So pick up Rumi, pick up Gibran, pick up any mystic. Every mystic agrees. The universe is abundant. We are abundant. We're not limited in any way. So let us all agree together. Let us all change culture together so that when I'm nervous about, taking my time to myself, I know that Arthi is with me, and I know that Tammy is with me, and I know that Rick is with me, and David is with me, and Joseph is with me. I know that Angie is with me. I know that we are having each other's backs. And anyone else that you share this with who might be reluctant to, take it upon yourself to prove this out to yourself, we have each other's backs. This is so important. So before we close today, let's all agree that no one is asking us to martyr ourselves. Culture is asking us. Western society is asking us. The great money makers are asking us, work 60 hours a week, work 80 hours a week to make whatever money you make. Yes, that is accurate. But we are not buying into that culture. Again, this is why I just adore Dr. Shefali Sabari, because she's saying, let's create a new mainstream. This is my language. This is my mission. Let's create a new mainstream that says, saying that self-care is selfish is an insult to our intelligence. It's old school, like Arthi is saying. It is time for us to say we are here for, my son is 14. I have 5 years with my son under my roof. You know what? I want him to see me every day flourishing, thriving, even when life hands me something, even when I'm going through a hard time. Do not mishear this. I'm not saying that we all have to be, walking around oming, singing Kumbaya all day long. This is not what I'm saying, because life, we're going to move through what we move through. We're going to go through loss. Someone is going to lose a job. Someone is going to pass on. Life is going to, he is going to, have whatever experiences he has with his friendships. Life is going to happen to us. I'm not saying this. What I'm saying is that we are here to thrive. The word thrive, one of the reasons I love the word thrive is because the word thrive means to have a sense of well-being in the midst of whatever is going on around us in life. So with our children, we're seeking to have a sense of well-being in the midst of our own storms, and certainly in the midst of their storms. They need us to be there for them. So we're agreeing today that no one's asking us to martyr, that we're choosing to martyr ourselves. Let's just say it that way. We're choosing to martyr ourselves, and martyrdom no more. Can we agree on that? Martyrdom no more. Yes, Jess is saying every mystic agrees, right? The Thrive Tribe, the Self-Care Tribe. So I want to see everybody's yeses. Martyrdom no more. And I want you all, as we're leaving, to just write in the comments section what you're intending today, how you recognize. This is what I want you to see. I want you to recognize the moments in your day that you're martyring yourselves, because we all do it. We do it unconsciously. I do it. I practice. I seek to be aware when I do. When I hear myself, speaking in a certain way, using certain language to my husband, to my son, it's usually they bear the brunt of it because they're the closest to me. I'm more PC as I spiral out. But I watch myself. I watch myself, and I take ownership and responsibility. Oh, I didn't take care of myself today. I don't see, Joseph is saying to eat consciously and nourish his body today. To eat consciously and nourish his body today. Can anyone else agree? Let us eat consciously and nourish our bodies today. Anybody else that's agreeing with Joseph, joining in with him? If I could write on there, I would right now. Yes, I am with you. I'm going to eat consciously and nourish my body today. Anybody else that's with Joseph, please agree. And now, just before we leave, I wanted to say, hang on, one more thing I'm forgetting. I distracted my own self. Tammy, love this. Tammy is saying, I'm not going to overcommit and then be resentful. I'm not going to overcommit and then be resentful. Does that ring a bell for anyone? Yes, I will agree with Tammy. My motto in life, under promise, over deliver. Under commit, over deliver. So Tammy, I send you the good mojo to under commit. Now, that's going to bring up feelings for you, right? It's going to bring up feelings. I'll speak for myself. It would bring up feelings for myself when I first started this, not committing to everything, not saying yes to everything, learning that saying no was actually saying yes sometimes. So to not overcommit is going to require something of you. To not overcommit is going to require something of us. It's going to require us to learn to say no. And it's going to require of us to then realize that other people might not like it, and that's okay. So I would love, Tammy, for you to come back and give us an example, either later, tomorrow, in the next few days, when you start to commit and you catch yourself. But don't only share that. Share with us what came up for you, because things come up for all of us, and this is our work. This is our practice. We have to learn to work through what makes us comfortable about overcommitting. There's something that makes us comfortable about overcommitting. So you're going to learn something. I guarantee you, Tammy, you're going to learn, you're going to transform, you're going to shift just because of that commitment. And to sit with the uncomfortable moment of saying no is what Tammy is saying right now. To sit with the uncomfortable moment of saying no. So I wanted to share one more quick thing before we leave. I'm remembering it now. Adrienne Carnes is not, I don't see her necessarily on here right now, but if you all go to her Facebook page, she's doing these beautiful I'm a journaler. I'm a journaler from way back, and I believe in insight journaling and affirmative journaling. And she's creating artwork out of it. And so I'm going to start posting some of her artwork because her artwork is so beautiful. I'm going to start posting it, but I'm just saying, look to others in this community. And Jessica had this wonderful idea. Yesterday, she posted a picture when she went on her walk yesterday, a picture of this deer that she ran into that found her. And she said that as she's taking more time to go out into nature, she's finding that nature is coming to her. And this deer found her. So I'm liking it when you come back later on in the day and share this. And I'm asking if this is at all meaningful to you, and you know of another mom, another dad, another caregiver, another man, another individual who might be martyring themselves unintentionally, unconsciously, and most of all, unnecessarily, please pass it along. It's free. Give it to someone else. Allow someone else to learn and to be part of this journey. and come back to the comments or come back tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're talking about guilt, the martyr's cousin. Oh, so funny that I was speaking about Adrian. I'm going to be in Texas tomorrow. For any of you who are in Texas, for any of you who live close to San Antonio or Boerne, Texas, Dr. Shefali is going to be there on Saturday morning, this coming up Saturday morning, and I'm going. And I would love to see or meet any of you. So please, first and foremost, go to Dr. Shefali's page or my Facebook page. You can register. All the information is there. But tomorrow, I invited Adrian to do the Facebook Live together with me so she could show everyone some of her beautiful artwork. So funny that I mentioned her. Tomorrow, Chapter 5, Day 5, Guilt, the Martyr's Cousin, will be in the afternoon Pacific time, evening Central time. Somewhere I land, I think somewhere in the late afternoon. So I'll post the exact time, but it will be late afternoon Pacific time, and it's going to be perfect because it's Friday. We're getting ready for the weekend. So those of you in the Texas, San Antonio, Boerne area that want to go see Dr. Shefali, and I would love to meet all of you, please go register for that. Those of you tomorrow, Motherhood Evolution, Living the Motherhood Evolution. We're going to be talking about guilt, continuing this conversation. And in the meantime, I just encourage you, if you haven't already, please go to my website, SuziLula.com, download the first chapter from self-sacrifice to self-care. Share my website with other parents that you know that really might benefit from just giving themselves a little nourishment. I would so appreciate it because we want to spread this message. The more of us who are doing this, then the easier it is to change mainstream altogether. So it's free. The download is free. The chapter is free. What have you got to lose, right? So grateful to be with you all tomorrow, late afternoon, as we prepare for our weekends together. And I look forward to it, and I look forward to seeing all of your comments for the remainder of today and tomorrow. All right, much, much, much love, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Joseph. I so appreciate that. I feel inspired with all of you guys as well. So bye, Angie. Angie is saying that she shared this on her Facebook page. So grateful, so appreciative. I'm just seeking, like I said, it's free information, and what we are very fortunate in. If you're watching this, it means you have technology. So we're very fortunate. We're very blessed. I'm really seeking to get this out to individuals who right now might be feeling alone. Adrian just joined, everybody. So I just want to tell you I've been talking about you for the past 10 minutes. So thank you all for sharing. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Angie, for sharing. Thank you, Tammy. I really appreciate it. And we can't wait to hear how undercommitting and the feelings that come up in your journey. We're all with you on your journey. Can't wait to hear about it. My love to Brian. So see you all tomorrow in the evening from Texas, where I hear it is 90 degrees. So blessings, everyone. Have a beautiful, nourished day. And yeah, Adrian, yeah, you'll laugh because I talk about you a lot. So no more martyrdom, everybody. No more martyrdom. Be gone. Self-care is in. All right. Much love, everyone. See you all tomorrow.